Across Rwanda, people find all sorts of ways to make a living and support their families. I work as a porter, making flower vases, and that is how I make a living and support my family. My creations help pay for health insurance and my children go to school. This is my only source of income. They survive because of this. I grow tomatoes, green beans and cabbages. Sometimes we are fortunate enough to export our produce, especially green beans. This is my job and it supports my family because this is all I do for a living. I am able to supply markets and save something for myself as well. This time around I grew cabbages, but during the last season I grew tomatoes, investing 600,000 Rwandan francs and selling them for 1.5 million. I made a profit of 900,000 francs. There are those, however, who have struggled with poverty and they too are being assisted to develop by the government through programs like VUP, Girinka and the provision of housing facilities. Government officials have noted that the efforts have been paying off with close to 70% of the population now above the poverty line.
Igihugu cyacu cyamenyekanye nk'igihugu cyafashije abaturage bacyo benshi.
Our country is known for having helped many of its people to come out of poverty, with more than 1 million lifted above the poverty line in just 5 to 7 years, thanks to programs like Girinka, VUP and others meant to help the people develop. About a decade back or so, 2/3 of the population, about 60%, were living below the poverty line. Now it has flipped, with 2/3 above it. Professor Anastase Shaka says the need to fight poverty should not be underestimated. We are living in difficult times with this COVID-19 pandemic, which has played a role in worsening poverty, with people not working their full shifts, which is why today, as we mark the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, we should remember the importance of self-reliance and urge people to properly utilize the support they receive in order to develop, especially those who receive government support, who must see self-reliance as the ultimate goal and sign performance contracts to that end. In 2 years at most, a person should be able to move up from the group of those in poverty, and we want to undertake this journey with all Rwandans, and they should seek to make their families self-sufficient as part of their performance contracts. The Ministry of Local Government says every year the government of Rwanda spends more than 100 billion Rwandan francs helping more than 500,000 families with their more than 2.5 million members to come out of poverty. The UN, meanwhile, says the COVID-19 pandemic has made life worse for the world's poor, with an extra 115 million people in danger of slipping into extreme poverty.
In these extraordinary times, we need extraordinary efforts to fight poverty. The pandemic demands strong collective action. Governments must accelerate economic transformation by investing in a green, sustainable recovery. We need a new generation of social protection programs that also cover people working in the informal economy. Joining together in common cause is the only way we will emerge safely from this pandemic. On the International Day for the Eradication of Poverty, let's stand in solidarity with people living in poverty.
The UN says 736 million people around the world live in poverty, 689 million of them in extreme poverty. 4/5 of those people live in rural areas, and the worst rates of poverty are found in conflict-stricken countries.